Hi everybody, it's really nice to be here today, and although I can't see you, I can see lots of tiles on the screen, so it's nice to know that there's somebody doing this with me, and there may be lots of you that do this later on, and maybe even if you're here today, you'll come back to this recording and want to repeat this because it's really something that is super simple. And the more regularly that you can get into the habit of some of the things that I'm going to share with you today, perhaps the more benefit that you will reap from these exercises. So we're going to start with a breathing technique. But before I show you the ratio, I just want you to settle into wherever you're sitting right now, or maybe you're standing. And just notice how your breath is in this moment. And might be quite a new concept to just check in. So if you feel uncomfortable or a little bit resistant, that's very normal. But just some things to take note of. Does it feel as though your breath is only really coming into the top part of your chest? Does it feel as though when you breathe in, there is perhaps some sensitivity? Or maybe it feels as though your breath is quite full today and you can really feel that wonderful expansion of your lungs as you take in that sip of air. So just become familiar with how your breath is right now. Together, we're going to do a pranayama or a breathing technique that will be great to start your day. So it might be something that you could do while you're having breakfast or while you're waiting for the kettle to boil. Or this might be something that you do when you have a break. Maybe it's a gap in between classes, maybe it's at lunchtime or break time. Instead of staying in that kind of fast-paced mode, so your whole day is just on this hamster wheel, this little breathing technique is going to be something that can just slow you down, take a moment to change the pace of your day, to also give you a little bit more dynamic throughout the entire scope of your day. So all we're going to do is super simple, and you can also play around with this the more comfortable you become. We're just going to very simply breathe in for 3 and breathe out for 6. And I'll count for us. And depending on how you feel, you can do this breathing in and out of your nose, or maybe you'd like to breathe in through your nose and take a soft exhale out through your mouth. But just see how you go. The more comfortable you become, you might like to breathe in for 4 and out for 8, but it's just generally doubling the length of your inhale with your exhale. So together, when you're ready, start to breathe in for a count of 3, 2, 1, and breathe out for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in 3, 2, 1. Breathe out 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in 3, 2, 1. Breathe out 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in 3, 2, 1. Breathe out 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in 3. Breathe out 6. And this last one's over to you. When you get to the base of that last exhale, just let your breath come back to a very natural and comfortable rhythm. And that's really as simple as it is. So if you step into the staff room for a few minutes, no one even has to know that you're doing it. It's very discreet. Or maybe you can do it together if you like, if you have that kind of camaraderie with your colleagues. Okay, now you're a bit more comfortable with your breath. We're going to do some movement together, but we're going to sync an intention with your movement. So a great thing to do at the beginning of the day, and also a good thing to do if you're having a tough day and you did a bit of a reset. So as your intention, I'd just like you to consider a word or a phrase that might help you to consider how you'd like to go into the rest of your day. So something to keep in mind, maybe before you enter the school day or partway through the school day. This can also be your weekend, of course. But how would you like to go through this day? Just a word or a phrase. If nothing comes, a great one to come to is just to be here. I just want to be here. And that might be your intention. You might have lots coming up, and that's great. And then together, we're just going to very slowly start to draw some circles with your nose. As it gets cold in the autumn and winter, our neck becomes very stiff and tight. So your range of movement may feel a little bit limited here, and that's all right. Try to let go of thinking about this as a neck stretch and more take the movement from the tip of your nose as though this is your drawing tool. The more comfortable you become, you might like to write out that word or phrase that you had in your mind. So you might write, be here, or you might write fun, whatever your word is. And then if you'd like to become a little bit more creative with it, there may be a symbol or a shape that correlates to your intention. So if you maybe wanted to find more light in your day, become more light-hearted, maybe take things less seriously, you might draw a big sun or a star. And I know that there may be some resistance, but just lean into the creativity, the potential silliness. You might notice that your movements gradually increase their range. And then instead of coming straight back to stillness, just gradually make your shapes smaller or start to reduce the font size of your words. So start to write them out very small. Gradually shrinking this movement until it's not jarring to come back to that place in the middle, to your center. Okay, great. Good on you for doing that. The next thing is to bring your fingertips to the tops of your shoulders. And that might feel like enough today. You might feel like, yep, I'm feeling that opening across my chest. That's all I need. We can feel very congested at this time of year as well. There's lots of colds going around. I'm sure you all know that from being in schools. So this might be enough, drawing your elbows back and finding that opening across the front of your chest. Otherwise, you can start to bring some movement in here too. Again, don't think too much about your shoulders, but consider drawing from your elbows. You might like to return to the shapes, symbols, or words that you found before. Or you might like to just be a little bit more free flow. Maybe this becomes more of an abstract movement. Our shoulders have a greater range of movement than any other joint in our body, not including our hips. So instead of just doing the same thing, just making these small circles, see if you can find something new here. And it's okay if that is feeling a little bit difficult. You might feel like, oh, I'm not really sure what to do. So just close your eyes, think less about the movement and more about the drawing. Tap into the sensation rather than the structure here. Perhaps gradually becoming more confident. This is a really great opportunity to start to release tension from your shoulders, something to do perhaps at the end of the day. If you feel like you've taken on a lot, you might feel like you're just carrying a lot on your shoulders. It's just a soft release. And then the same again, instead of just coming back to stillness and kind of hunching up, just gradually make this smaller. So you're just decreasing the size of your movements. And slowly settling in. And then just let your hands drop to your sides very slowly, very gently. And then just take one more inhale, reaching your shoulders all the way up to your earlobes. And then with your exhale, drop them down. Create some length between your earlobes and shoulders. We'll do that twice more. Breathing in, reaching up, and then exhale, let it go. And let you do the last one on your own. You might like to notice here how you're breathing now, how you're feeling now, and how it perhaps didn't take too much just to shift the way that you feel. Perhaps create a little bit of openness, a little bit more presence, and maybe focus for the rest of your day. And that's the end of our little creative mindfulness exercise.